All right, welcome to the R Club Safety Training Series, where this month we're going to cover defensive driving. As always, I'm John Kenny, your host, and I'm happy to be here from Cottony Consulting Group. Defensive driving agenda for today. We're going to learn how to recognize and reduce risk by planning, modifying your driving habits to safely in hazardous weather conditions, identify the dangers of distracted driving, anticipate what may be happening around you by being aware of your surroundings and managing your speed and space. So, what is defensive driving? So, National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration defines defensive driving as preventing accidents by trying to anticipate hazardous conditions and situations and adjusting your behavior to compensate for them. Trip planning. Trip planning is making sure you know where you're going, the route you're going to be taking, and where you plan to stop along the way, and what time are you going to arrive. A lot of times we don't allow enough time to get to our destination to allow for hazards or other conditions. Preparation for defensive driving begins before you even get on the road. Planning ahead improves your ability to handle whatever road hazards you may encounter. Eliminate potential distractions before you depart. You got to do a pre-trip inspection. Another part of proper trip planning is inspecting the vehicle before you actually get on the road. Some companies already have a pre-trip planning inspection list, but if not, you need to do it anyways and then get to prepare one with your company. So I want to make sure this becomes a habit that you do every single day with a pre-trip planning and then weekly safety inspection. This is kind of a look at the pre-trip planning, which is a little more detailed that you could use as a once a week safety inspection. Your daily pre-trip may be a little bit less involved, but again, you want to be able to cover it. So if you don't have a form, create a form. If you need help, reach out and to our club and we'll help you with this. Driving hazards. Weather. Check the weather forecast before you depart. You can have fog, rain, snow, ice conditions. Other extreme conditions can create serious hazards on the road. More than 450,000 injuries causing crashes occur each year because of just weather conditions. So you want to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. Share a little personal note with you. Back when I was working on the roof, we were in New Jersey, working on a project, left in the morning. It was above 32 degrees. They projected rain. It was about 38. We did get rain after the job was ended. On the way back to our shop, about a 30-mile trip, halfway through, we ran into black ice because the temperature dropped. So we didn't have apps and all that on our phones in those days. We actually didn't even have phones at this particular time. We had to be aware of our surroundings and know that we were getting into this condition. But what happened? Changed everything around. Safety became paramount to get home. We had to ride on the shoulder at very slow speeds in the gravel area of the shoulder to try to be safe and watch out for all the other drivers at the same time. So again, be aware of your surroundings. So with today's weather apps, if you're in a cold area, what would you do if they're projecting the temperatures to drop and rain turning to ice at the end of the day? If you do work part of a day, make sure you allow time to get to the job, close it out, and get home before the adverse weather hits. Fog reflects light and can reduce your visibility to 1/4 mile or less. So again, very hazardous. Rain affects your visibility, your vehicle handling, and stopping distance. It also can cause hydroplaning. Once a vehicle hydroplanes, you have lost total control of that vehicle. Snow and ice. Avoid driving in these conditions if at all possible. For winter driving, carry a survival kit, including shovel, bag of sand, gloves, hat, flashlight, snacks, and water. It's very important. I've seen plenty of news clips, and I'm sure you have too, where people have been out and caught in these areas when a storm comes up, a blizzard conditions that we weren't prepared for, and drivers can be stranded for 24 to 48 hours easily. Distracted driving. Types of distracted driving include visual distraction, that's when you take your eyes off the road, a physical distraction, when you take your hands off the wheel. Mental distraction is when your brain is not engaged in where you're driving. Usually you're aware of when you are visually or physically distracted. However, you may not even realize when you're mentally distracted. This can come from daydreaming. That one's really dangerous because you are zoned out and cannot recognize where you're at or what the conditions are. According to a study released by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, 8 out of every 10 crashes involve some form of driver distraction, and 6.5 out of every 10 crashes involve some form of driver distraction of the near misses. Nearly any activity can become a distraction while you're driving. Reaching for an object, eating, looking at something outside of your vehicle, reading, cell phone use, etc. Texting and driving. Texting while driving is considered worse than drunk driving and is one of the deadliest distractions because it involves all three types of distraction. You're visually, physically, and mentally distracted when texting. I will tell you that the first thing if there's an accident, an attorney, your insurance company, the opposite driver's insurance company are going to automatically go for the subpoena and they're going to pull these records from your phone company and they're going to know that you were texting. So you cannot get out of this by saying I was not texting when you were. So again, best practice, do not text while driving. Driving defensively. Driving defensively means being prepared for anything that may occur on the road. It isn't just about knowing the right techniques. It's a combination of a few things: preparation, hazard prep, speed and space management, and attitude. Drive defensively. On the average, about 40,000 people lose their lives in motor vehicle crashes each year. And vehicle crashes are the #1 cause of on-the-job fatalities. So it happens. I've seen it happen where people have gone to work safely, worked on the roof all day, and there was a fatality coming home from the job site. Speed and space management. Look ahead, use your mirrors to stay aware of what's happening all the way around you. Scan your mirrors and gauges every few seconds. Look far enough ahead to anticipate potential problems. Proper scanning distances is 12 to 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle. So you've got to be aware of what's out in front of you, on the side of you, and what's happening behind you. Most common causes of vehicle crashes is excessive speed and following too closely. These absolutely go hand in hand. The faster someone is traveling, usually the closer they're following or getting behind the person to push them out of the way. Road hazards. Road debris, according to AAA study, road debris causes at least 25,000 wrecks and 90 deaths a year in US and Canada. Animals causes thousands of crashes and injuries every year. Instruction zones, slow down, obey warning signs, and stay alert for the workers. Crash scenes. Crashes often are followed by secondhand crashes by people who let themselves become distracted by the original crash. Called rubbernecking, right? Someone is paying attention to the accident, trying to get a look at it, and the car in front of them has to stop. Bang, now we have accident #2. Road hazards. Other drivers who may be distracted, aggressive, confused, and impaired anticipate they won't follow the rules and give them extra room. You have to always anticipate the other driver may be not following and may be aggressive, confused, or impaired. Pedestrians never assume that they see you or that they will act predictably. They may be unfamiliar with the street they're on or just not paying attention. We see that more and more today with the cell phones, texting while walking, conversations on the phone while walking, or just plain looking up something on their phone. And people are walking out into the line of traffic. Stopping distances. You need time and space to act based on the actions of others. The space is your safety cushion, which is your front, back, behind you, and your sides. Cushion gives you a margin for responding to trouble. Without it, you may see that hazard, but you won't have time or space to avoid it. The faster you drive, the greater your stopping distance must be, the longer, and the more cushion you'll need in front of your vehicle. 3 factors that contribute to total stopping distance. First is the perception distance. This is the distance a vehicle travels between the time your eyes observe a hazard and your brain actually recognizes it. Second is the reaction distance, which is the distance traveled between the time your brain tells your foot to hit the brake and when you actually push down on the brake pedal. Effective braking distance, which is the distance it takes for the vehicle to stop once the brakes are activated. So that is our total formula. Your total stopping distance includes all three: the perception distance, the reaction distance, and effective braking distance. All three of those add to stopping distance. So if your effective braking distance, say, is 150 feet by the speed you're going, you still have to take in consideration the perception and reaction, so it may become 200 feet. That's the things you got to think about. Always allow more than what you think. The fourth component of defensive driving is, of course, attitude. When it comes to adopting a defensive attitude, the key is to treat other drivers with respect, even if they don't return the favor. So, as tempting as it may be to get into that road argument or tell somebody off, let them go beyond their day. Keep yourself cool and focus on what your task is at hand. So let's take a look. Let's review. What you should be able to do by reviewing this. Recognize and reduce risks before you step into the vehicle by using trip planning. Again, like everything else we do in roofing, managing and reducing risk is the key. Modify your driving habits to drive in a hazardous weather conditions safely. Identify the dangers of distracted driving. Describe how to see and anticipate not only what's happening around you, but what you may also happen that you're anticipating. So, with these tips and proper training within your crews and your drivers, you should be able to have a great defensive driving safety program. Like anything else, you should be doing these on a yearly minimum basis of reviewing with your company drivers. So once again, if you have any questions, please reach out to the R Club, or you can reach out to me at Cotney Consulting Group, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video.